the mistakes I wish I'd avoided, and how you can do better. Alright, grab a seat and let's chat like we're catching up over a cup of coffee, because I want to tell you about the times I messed up on my road to financial freedom. If you think my journey was all smooth sailing and smart moves, you're in for a surprise. I made some costly mistakes, ones that set me back millions of dollars, slowed down my dream of early retirement, and even made me question if I was on the right path. But here's what I've learned: mistakes aren't the end of the story. They're lessons, and if you listen to my story, you can skip the pain I went through. Let's rewind to when I first jumped into the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. I was about 27, a few years into my career, and feeling pretty cocky with my finance degree. I had a decent job, a solid paycheck, and I thought, I'm young, I've got plenty of time to save and invest. Let's live a little. So, I spent money like it was going out of style. Every month, I dropped thousands on things like a shiny Mustang, fancy dinners at upscale restaurants, and weekend getaways to Vegas. I kept telling myself, I'll start saving when I make more money, when I get that promotion or bonus. But guess what? That someday never came. One morning I sat down and checked my bank account, $2,000 in savings after 3 years of working. It felt like a punch to the gut. I realized I'd been throwing away something way more valuable than money: time. Time is your best friend when it comes to investing, because it lets your money grow through compound interest. If I'd started investing $5,000 a year at 25, with a 7% average return, I'd have over $1 million by 55. But because I waited until 30 to get serious, I lost hundreds of thousands in potential growth. That wasn't just money, it was years of freedom I could have had. If I could go back and give 27-year-old me one piece of advice, it'd be this: stop waiting for the perfect moment to start. You don't need to save thousands a month. Even $50, $100, whatever you can manage, put it into a low-cost index fund like the Vanguard S&P 500. If you do that consistently, you'll be shocked at how it adds up. And if your company offers a 401k with an employer match, jump on it. That's free money, like getting a raise without lifting a finger. I wish I'd figured this out sooner instead of spending to keep up with my friends. But blowing money wasn't my only screw-up. There was a time I thought I could be an investing genius. You know how it goes? You read a few finance blogs, watch some YouTube videos, and suddenly think you can outsmart the market. I got caught up in the hype when friends bragged about making bank on tech stocks or real estate deals. So, I dumped $100,000, almost all my savings at the time, into a real estate project in Florida. It sounded like a sure thing: buy now and the value will double in a few years. Then the 2008 market crash hit and I lost nearly everything. I'd let excitement and emotions drive my decisions instead of doing my homework. That mistake taught me a hard lesson: don't chase shiny objects. Investing doesn't need to be flashy or thrilling to work. After that disaster, I switched to a simpler strategy: low-cost index funds like the Vanguard Total Stock Market. They're not glamorous, but they're steady, diversified, and grow reliably, about 7 to 10% a year on average. I also learned to keep an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses, so I wouldn't have to sell investments when the market tanked. If you're just starting out, do what I do now. Pick an index fund, invest regularly, and leave it alone. You don't need to be a hero investor. Just be patient and time will do the heavy lifting. But the biggest mistake I made wasn't about money at all. It was about my mindset and sense of self. When I retired at 38, I thought I was ready. I had enough money, a solid portfolio, and plans to travel the world. But a few months after quitting my job, I felt like a piece of me was missing. For years, I tied my identity to being the successful financial analyst. I loved when people asked, "What do you do?" And I could say, "I work at a big firm managing millions." But after retiring, I didn't know how to answer that question anymore. I felt lost, like I didn't know who I was without my job. I hadn't prepared mentally for life after retirement, and it led to a rough patch. I started questioning if I was truly happy. I wish I'd spent time thinking about who I was outside of work and what really gave my life meaning. That experience showed me that financial freedom isn't just about money, it's about building a life that matters to you. If you only focus on saving and investing while ignoring your mental health, You might hit financial independence but still feel empty. My advice? Start thinking about this now, no matter your age. Try out new hobbies, maybe pick up a guitar, start gardening, or join a book club. I got into volunteering at a nonprofit, and it gave me a kind of joy no job ever did. One great way to prepare is to experiment with mini retirements. Spend a few weeks or a month living like you're retired. For example, I took a month to learn how to bake, and I discovered I love creating in the kitchen. These experiences help you figure out what really matters, so when you retire, you don't feel like you're drifting. And don't forget to nurture your relationships. Friends, family, and community will be your biggest support in this new chapter. Looking back, my mistakes, wasting money, chasing bad investments, neglecting my mindset, were tough but valuable lessons. They didn't just make me stronger, they led me to share this story with you today. Here's what I want you to take away. You don't have to be perfect to achieve financial freedom. You'll stumble, you'll make mistakes, but what matters is that you learn and keep moving forward. If a guy who used to blow his paycheck like me can retire at 38, you can do it too. So what can you do today? Take a moment tonight to do two things. First, open an investment account. Even $50 a month in an index fund is a great start. Second, jot down one thing you want to do when you retire, whether it's traveling, learning a new skill, or just having time to read. These small steps will get you closer to your dream of financial freedom. Stick around for the next part, where we'll dive into how to plan for retirement. Practical steps to make your dream a reality. And don't forget to subscribe to Stories for Retired. I'd love to hear from you, so drop a comment and share one mistake you want to avoid on your retirement journey. I read every comment and can't wait to connect with you. Planning for retirement. The blueprint for financial freedom. Alright, let's get to the good stuff. How do you actually achieve financial freedom and retire early? I'm not gonna lie, this part is where the rubber meets the road. It's not just about dreaming of a life where you wake up without an alarm clock or travel the world. It's about having a clear, actionable plan to get there. I'm going to walk you through the blueprint I used to hit financial independence, with steps anyone can follow, whether you're in your 20s just starting out or in your 50s looking to escape the daily grind. But here's the thing to keep in mind. Financial freedom isn't a finish line, it's a journey. You don't need to be rich overnight. You just need discipline, patience, and a game plan. Let's start with the foundation, figuring out your freedom number. This is the amount of money you need to live comfortably without working. It sounds intimidating, but it's actually pretty simple to calculate. Take your annual living expenses, everything from rent to groceries to that occasional vacation, and multiply it by 25. For example, if you need $40,000 a year to cover your lifestyle, you'd need $40,000 times 25, which is $1 million. That number comes from the 4% rule, which says you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio every year without running out of money. Now, when I first did this math, my number felt like a mountain I'd never climb. But don't let it scare you. You can lower your expenses, like moving to a cheaper area or cutting out unnecessary subscriptions, or boost your income to hit that goal faster. So, grab a notebook tonight and add up your yearly costs. Be honest, include the Netflix subscription, the coffee runs, and those weekend getaways. Multiply by 25, and that's your target. Knowing this number gives you clarity and a goal to aim for. Next up, you've got to save and invest like you mean it. The FIRE movement pushes you to save 50 to 70% of your income, which I know sounds crazy at first. When I started, I was nowhere near that. I began with 10% and worked my way up over time. The key is to use tax-advantaged accounts to make your money work harder. If your job offers a 401k, especially with an employer match, max it out. It's like free money. I also love the Roth IRA because you pay taxes now, but your earnings grow tax-free, and you can withdraw them later without owing Uncle Sam. And for investing, stick to low-cost index funds, like the Vanguard Total Stock Market or S&P 500. They're simple, reliable, and grow at 7 to 10% a year on average. Here's a trick that changed the game for me. Automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your paycheck to your 401k or Roth IRA before you even see the money. It's like paying your future self first. When I got a raise, I'd funnel half of it into savings or investments instead of upgrading my lifestyle. That one habit helped me go from saving 10% to 60% of my income in a few years. So, start small, maybe $50 a month, and increase it as you go. Automation takes the willpower out of it. Now, saving and investing are the backbone, but if you want to speed things up, you need passive income, money that flows in without you clocking in hours. This could be dividends from stocks, rental income from property, or even cash from a side hustle. For me, I invested in dividend-paying ETFs, which bring in about $2,000 a year without lifting a finger. I also bought a small rental property that generates $500 a month. These streams gave me peace of mind, knowing I had cash coming in even if the market got rocky. You don't need to buy a house to start. If real estate's not your thing, try something smaller like creating an online course, starting a blog, or investing in dividend ETFs. Even $100 a month in passive income can reduce the pressure and get you closer to freedom. The key is to experiment and find what works for you. But here's something I learned the hard way. Financial freedom isn't just about the numbers. It's about how you live. When I was grinding toward FIRE, I got so focused on saving that I forgot to enjoy the journey. I'd say no to dinners with friends or skip vacations to save a few bucks. Looking back, I wish I'd balanced things better. So, I came up with what I call the 1% rule. Spend 1% of your budget on things that spark joy, like a good coffee, a movie night, or a small gift for someone you love. It keeps you from feeling deprived while still staying on track. Another big piece is preparing mentally and emotionally for retirement. I started experimenting with mini retirements, taking a few weeks to live like I was retired. One time, I spent a month learning to bake, and it showed me how much I love creating something with my hands. These experiments helped me figure out what I wanted my life to look like after retiring. They also made me realize I didn't need to wait until I had millions to start living a little. You'll also face social pressure. Friends might not get why you're skipping fancy dinners or driving an older car. Stay focused on your goal, but don't shut out the people who matter. And start thinking now about what gives your life meaning, whether it's travel, volunteering, or learning something new. Try incorporating one of those things into your life today, even if it's just a weekend trip to a nearby town or signing up for a cooking class. Oh, and one more thing. There's no one-size-fits-all path to financial freedom. Some people go for lean FIRE, living super frugally to retire early on a small budget like $20,000 a year. Others aim for fat FIRE, saving enough for a cushy lifestyle, maybe $100,000 a year. Then there's barista FIRE, where you work part-time for health insurance or extra cash. I lean toward a mix, enough to live comfortably but not extravagantly. The key is to pick a path that aligns with your values and goals. So, what's your next step? Tonight, calculate your freedom number and pick one thing to act on. Maybe set up an automatic $50 transfer to an investment account or brainstorm a passive income idea. These small moves build momentum. Keep watching to see what life after retirement is really like. The joys, the challenges, and everything in between. And don't forget to subscribe to Stories for Retired. Drop a comment and share which FIRE strategy you're curious about. I read every comment and can't wait to hear from you.